Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with daily events worldwide. We're on February 25th, 2025. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet. Welcome to the Daily Do. And boy, have I got a show for you tonight. At least 10 solar flares have fired off from our sun over the past 2 days. Multiple M-class solar flares, 9 M-class solar flares actually, and 1 strong X-class solar flare. So very active week on the sun. Looking at the last 48 hours incoming, big plasma prominence on the left-hand side lifting from the surface. This thing is massive and still has yet to let loose, destabilize. That is connected to a lot of sunspot regions on the backside of our sun. Having a look at outgoing, as these are the sunspots that have been the most active, firing away solar flares. And watching the last few frames here, that big one, pretty strong M-class, Earth-facing fashion. Looking at multi-spectrum, pointing out the last 48 hours of events, most interesting interaction between these sunspot regions, and as well the most recent M-flare there. We've also got, of course, the Earth-facing coronal hole, which means we're going to be experiencing a geomagnetic event from the increased solar wind speeds. Look at the size of the southern hemisphere coronal hole that has severely grown over the past 24 hours. Looking at our sun in another light, look at these magnetic loops. Tons of activity with our sun and these sunspot regions. 3988 is a very peculiar sunspot region. 4000 is primed, 3988 is primed. And look at the connectivity there. Wow, folks. Thanks, everybody, for pressing play today. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Get in the comment section and let me know where you're watching from. Give some love to this video. Having a look at sunspot regions in motion here. Right-hand side, very big sunspot region turning away. That is 3988. But we've got some big ones turning into view as well. Big green blobs. Looking at that light. Sunspot regions right now, we have 5 that are Earth-facing. 6 including 3988, which is still could give us glancing blow. But 4006 has definitely got some complexity to it and is growing as it's turning in for the Earth-facing view. Current space weather conditions, we are under R1, minor radio blackout impacts from the most recent small duration M-class solar flare. Matched about the long duration solar flare we saw last night. Solar winds are coming in at 354 kilometers per second. Solar X-ray flux, look at all this activity. 2 long duration M-class solar flares after the X yesterday. Solar proton flux is right up there into the S1 range. And as well, geomagnetic activity hopped up to a KP4 yesterday. Looking at the Space Weather Prediction Center here, showing the most recent solar storms heading our way, 25th, 26th, expecting the geomagnetic instability and solar wind speeds. We could see some wicked ones, upwards of 780 kilometers per second. Stay tuned. We'll be keeping you updated on the current space weather events. Looking at LASCO 2, showing the last 2 days of cosmic energies leaving our sun, multiple CMEs taking off in the outgoing position. But look at this guy. Boom. That is a huge one. Massive coronal mass ejection taking off from our sun. Tonight's aurora forecast and tomorrow's, both of them pretty diminished, not much to see for now. Now let's get to earthquakes past 24 hours, as yesterday was an earthquake warning video, and we saw lots of activity to start the day. But we're going to start out here with a deep earthquake that occurred. Levuka, Fiji, 613 kilometer depth, even deeper than yesterday's 602. Still expecting something bigger here. We saw a 6.1 magnitude earthquake, Indonesia, right in the center of the Banda Sea, Modisi, Indonesia, 6.1 magnitude earthquake, as well a 5.3 earthquake here, Gar, India, eastern India, off the shore, so most likely not felt. But we also had a 5.3 here off the shore of Canada. Port McNeill reporting a 5.3 magnitude earthquake. 4.2 earthquake, Sandpoint, Alaska as well. Across the United States, USGS is reporting 284 earthquakes across this map. Definite increase, as last night we were up around 260, and now today we've been hovering at around 280. Largest being the 6.1 earthquake, Modisi, Indonesia. And then look at all this activity across the United States and as well off the coast of Canada with the 5.3 magnitude earthquake that struck Port McNeill. And this is after some pretty strange activity, seismic activity we've seen increasing across the West Coast. We also had the 5.3 here in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, with about 15 aftershocks, all again off the coast. Across the United States, Georgia, Danville with that, 2.1. Minio, Georgia, 2.1. Look at this, all across the New Madrid. Minor seismicity, Oklahoma and into Texas. Minor seismicity northeast of Yellowstone Lake. And as well, Washington. Falls City, Washington, seeing increased seismicity as well. 2.3, 2.4. And considering all the most recent activity up into Canada, very close to Texada Island, dormant volcanic field. My friends and family, this is the Rocky Mountains, and the Juan de Fuca Plate is heavily responsible for the Rockies. Having a look now at the last 30 days for earthquakes around the world, definitely something brewing. We haven't seen a strong 6 or a 7 across this region for quite some time. Just stay tuned, my friends and family. Be ready. Even earthquakes up into Grand Cache, but those are apparently industry related. So the largest earthquake, 6.1, but notable, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, 5.9 earthquake. And these all occurred this morning, as well as the 5.3 earthquake there, India, eastern India. So, aware and prepared, thank you so much for watching. And if you live in an earthquake-prone zone, please be ready, have a plan, and stay tuned to daily events worldwide. Having a look now at the last 7 days for shakers and movers around the world. Largest being the 6.1 earthquake that just struck Indonesia. Watching for something bigger over the next 24 hours, as earthquake warning is still in effect here with daily events worldwide, especially with current space weather activities. Look at that big gap between Washington and Alaska. Waiting for a big one. Something's brewing, my friends, and please share this video with your family and friends. Now let's have a look at the sulfur dioxide emissions forecast brought to you by our active and erupting volcanoes overlooking the northern Pacific and Central America. Active regions, no new volcanic activity to report, but notable big plumes still pouring out of China and as well eastern India, all through the Mediterranean, with multiple eruptions at Mount Etna all week long, and I'm sure we're going to see some more. Now let's have a look at world weather, brought to you by windy.com and as well daily events worldwide. Alberta Clipper moving into parts of eastern Canada, rain on the south, snow on the east, and then another system moves in for the long range. Pacific low comes in through Colorado Tuesday into Wednesday. Watch for a mess of a system heading across the Great Lakes and into the Atlantic provinces. And this next system comes out of the Gulf, misses the eastern seaboard, heads out into the Atlantic towards Ireland. Then overlooking Africa, Southeast Asia, and Australia. There's quite a mess of low pressure systems surrounding Madagascar right now. Waves of moisture to affect parts of South Africa. We've also got cyclone here heading towards eastern coast of Australia. Heads out into the ocean and then back to the coast in this long-range forecast. It's been different for the past 3 days. It's really hard to forecast our strange weather these days. We'll leave you here looking at the Pacific Ocean as we've got atmospheric rivers of moisture, multiple low-pressure systems all pounding the northern BC coastline and as well all through Alaska. But watch for some pretty wild winds in the long-range forecast here for parts of the Pacific Northwest and as well Alaska. Strong low coming out of the southern Pacific right there towards California. Big high-pressure ridge building in for the long range. And here's a look at our snowfall totals. As parts of Alaska could see upwards of 400 centimeters of snow. Still looking at quite a bit of snowfall across the northern hemisphere. 8 degrees today, 8 degrees Celsius in Ontario. We've got some warm pockets, roller coaster of temperatures over the next week. So stay tuned. The snow's still coming, but it's going to be wild and should be a very interesting spring with our spring thunderstorms. Much love. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks for watching. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. And get your daily dew. Bye-bye now.